Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. This is a narration of the book Transcendence and Civilization by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrila Prabhupāda. Today we will continue from where we stopped yesterday. Puṣṭa Kṛṣṇa asks, question number 3. Śrila Prabhupada says, No. First of all, make sure that everything is clear. Why are you so eager to progress? He laughs. Try to understand what is what. The first thing is that your destiny cannot be changed. That is a fact. But in spite of your destiny, if you try for Krishna consciousness, you can achieve spiritual success. Otherwise, why did Prahlad Maharaj urge his friends, Kaumara Acharit, take Krishna consciousness up from your very childhood? If destiny cannot be changed, then why was Prahlad Maharaj urging this? Generally, destiny means your material future, that you cannot change. But even that can be changed when you are in spiritual life. Puṣṭa Kṛṣṇa, what is the meaning of apratihata? You said that spiritual development cannot be checked. Śrila Prabhupada, apratihata means this. Suppose you are destined to suffer. So, apratihata means that in spite of your so-called destiny to suffer, if you take to Krishna consciousness, your suffering will be reduced or there will be no suffering. And in spite of any suffering, you can make progress in spiritual life. Just like Prahlad Maharaj himself, his father put him in so many suffering conditions, but he was not impaired. He made spiritual progress. He didn't care about his father's attempts to make him suffer. That state of existence is called apratihata. If you want to execute Krishna consciousness, your material condition of life cannot check it. That is the real platform of progress. Of course, insofar as your material condition is concerned, generally that cannot be checked. You have to suffer. But in the case of a devotee, that suffering also can be stopped or minimized. Otherwise, Krishna's statement would be false. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami, which means I will deliver you from all the reactions to your sinful activities. Suffering must befall me on account of my sinful activities, but Krishna says, I will deliver you from all the reactions to your sinful activities. This should be clear. Ordinarily, destiny cannot be checked. Therefore, instead of wasting your time trying to change your economic condition or material destiny apart from Krishna consciousness, you should employ your priceless human energy for attaining Krishna consciousness, which cannot be checked. We see so many men working so hard. Does this mean that every one of them will become a Ford or Rockefeller? Why not? Everyone is trying his best. But Mr. Ford was destined to become a rich man. His destiny was there, and so he became a rich man. Another man may work just as hard as Ford, but this does not mean that he will become as rich as Ford. This is practical. You cannot change your destiny simply by working hard like asses and dogs, no. But you can utilize your special human energy for improving your Krishna consciousness. That is a fact. Disciple, Srila Prabhupada, if destiny cannot be changed, what does Krishna mean when he says, be thou happy by this sacrifice? Srila Prabhupada, do you know what is meant by sacrifice? Disciple, sacrifice to Vishnu, to Krishna? Srila Prabhupada, yes, that means pleasing Krishna. If Krishna is pleased, he can change destiny. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, which means for those who serve him with love and devotion, Krishna can change destiny. So sacrifice yajna means pleasing Krishna. Our whole Krishna consciousness movement means pleasing Krishna. That is the whole program. In all other business, there is no question of pleasing Krishna. When one nation declares war upon another, there is no question of pleasing Krishna or serving Krishna. They're pleasing their own senses and serving their own whims. When the First and the Second World Wars began, it was not for pleasing Krishna. The Germans wanted that their sense gratification not be hampered by the Britishers. That means it was a war of sense gratification. The Britishers are achieving their sense gratification. We cannot. Alright, fight. So there was no question of pleasing Krishna. Next question. Chapter 3. Concocted Religion. Puṣṭa Kṛṣṇa asks, question number 3. It is said that the greatest strength of Hinduism is its Catholicity or the breadth of outlook. but that is also its greatest weakness, in that there are always very few common prescribed religious observances which are obligatory for all, as in other religions. Is it necessary and possible to outline certain basic minimum observances for all Hindus? Srila Prabhupada. So far as the Vedic religion is concerned, it is not simply for the so-called Hindus. That is to be understood. This is Sanatan Dharma, the eternal and universal nature and duty of every living being. It is for all living entities and all living beings. That is why it is called Sanatan Dharma. That I have already explained. The living entity is Sanatan or eternal. God is Sanatan, and there is Sanatan Dharma, the Lord's eternal abode. As Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 20, Parastasmat tu bhavo niyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha, which means, yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal, and in the 11th chapter, Krishna himself is described as Sanatana. Do you remember? He is described as Sanatana, the supreme eternal. So actually, the Vedic system is called Sanatan Dharma, not Hindu Dharma. That is a wrong concept. This Sanatan Dharma is meant for all living entities, not just the so-called Hindus. The very term Hindu is a misconception. The Muslims referred to the Indian people who lived on the other side of the river Sindhu as Sindhus, actually due to the peculiarities of pronunciation as Hindus. In any case, the Muslims called India Hindustan, which means the land on the other side of the river Sindh or Hind. Otherwise, Hindustan has no Vedic reference. So this Hindu Dharma has no Vedic reference. The real Vedic Dharma is Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma. First of all, one has to understand this. Now that Sanatan Dharma or Vedic Dharma is being disobeyed, distorted, and misrepresented, it has come to be misunderstood as Hinduism. That is fake understanding. That is not real understanding. We have to study Sanatan Dharma or Varnashra Dharma. Then we'll understand what the Vedic religion is. Every living entity is eternal, Sanatana. God is also eternal, and we can live with God in His Sanatan Dharma, His eternal abode. This reciprocation is called Sanatan Dharma, the eternal nature and the duty of the living being. So Vedic religion means this Sanatan Dharma, not Hindu Dharma. Read the verse from Bhagavad Gita that describes Krishna as Sanatana. Radha Vallabha reads, Tvam aksharam parapmam vidyat yam tvam asya vishvasya param nidhanam tvam avyasa sasvata dharmagupta sanatanastvam purusho mattomi, which means you're the supreme primal objective, you're the ultimate resting place of this universe, you're inexhaustible, and you are the supreme eternal. You're the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. Srila Prabhupada speaks. This understanding is wanted. Krishna is eternal, we are eternal, and the place where we live with Him and exchange our feelings, that is eternal. And the system which teaches this eternal system of reciprocation is called Sanatan Dharma, the eternal religion. It is meant for everyone. Thus we come to the end of the narration for today. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.